you said that there were days when the low phase came, as well as like in the first attempt of UPSC, in the second attempt of UPSC, you were not able to get through. So at that point of time when you hit low, that okay, I have prepared so much but I was not able to clear to the next phase. So how did you manage that point of time where you are at the lowest, because you were in a very good college, you were in a very, like, you cleared your chartered accountant in first attempt, the foundation, the intermediate, so you had that like success in whichever part you went, the SRCC also and the CA also. Now when you saw the failure in the UPSC, how did you manage your like mental state, and how did you manage to get through that? So hello everyone. Today we have with us Miss Arshnoor, who has cleared the SEBI Grade A examination in her first attempt. So first of all, a big round of applause for her. Now her journey of preparation has seen many ups and downs. You will say that she has cleared SEBI Grade A in her first attempt, but she has also given 3 attempts in UPSC, and she has seen her down phase, but now she has cleared the SEBI Grade A. And let me tell you a little about her education background. So she has done the BCom from SRCC, a very reputed organization. Then she has cleared her CA. So after SRCC, she gave her CA examination and she cleared it. After that, she gave 3 attempts in UPSC but couldn't clear it. And now, in just after the notifications, she started preparing for the SEBI Grade A examination. And with the preparation of 1 or 2 months, she was able to clear the SEBI Grade A examination. So, a little about yourself, ma'am.
So my name is Arshnoor. I am from Karnal. As ma'am told, I did my graduation from Sri Ram College of Commerce. Post that, I went on to complete my chartered accountancy. I worked in EY as a part of my articleship training in the statutory audit department. After that, I went on to give a couple of attempts in the civil services examination but did not get through. And then I attempted for the SEBI Grade A exam and cleared that. So that was
So any questions anyone has for her?
Yeah. So you told, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And as you told, you have already qualified CA, right? Which
Yes.
in itself is a very good profession. So what motivated you further to go for SEBI when you already are a professional in that area?
So I was really fond of the governance and the regulatory aspect of things, and that is what fascinated me about SEBI, and that is what really inclined towards SEBI.
I have one question. Since you were already a commerce graduate and a chartered accountant, what motivated you for civil services? Like, you had an entire finance commerce background, so why not a career in that?
So I did. I did have an interest in taxation, finance. So that was always there. But I was always inclined towards the governance and the policy making part of things. I worked in the Ministry of Finance and External Affairs as an intern while I was in college, and that really got me fascinated towards the policy making and the governance part of things. And that is when I thought that civil services is could be the right platform where I can use that platform to contribute to bigger things. So that is how I.
Do you intend to further?
No.
Okay, so we have this achievers like plaque, and this is the wall of fame where the achievers go. So kindly, ma'am.
Thank you.
And Miss Arshnoor has been a part of EduTap. She has our test series, as well as she has been a part of the mock interview process of ours, the paid as well as the free. And so she has been connected with us for a long time. And today she has achieved this. And this is the Achievers badge, if you can.
Yes, thank you so much. Do I need to put this on? Thank you.
And this is a book for you. This is a gift. I hope you will read it and you
Thank
will
you.
learn something from it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome to the success story session, and today we have with us Ms. Arshnoor, who has cleared the SEBI Grade A examination in her first attempt, and she has received remarkable marks in her interview and in the English descriptive answer writing paper. So today we will discuss her strategy, that how she was able to clear the examination, and let's celebrate her journey of clearing this exam. So first of all, congratulations to you for clearing the examination.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, can you brief the students about your educational background?
So my name is Arshnoor. I did my graduation from Shriram College of Commerce. I did my BCom honors from there. Post that, I went on to complete my chartered accountancy. So I'm a qualified chartered accountant. After that, I started preparing for civil services. So I gave a couple of attempts in the civil services examination, and post that, when I was not able to get through, so I started exploring other regulatory body examinations, and that is how I came across SEBI Grade A. And so I gave the SEBI attempt in the last year, which is 2024, and I've recently cleared it.
Okay, so can you tell us a little that why after like you have been qualified as a CA, like you are a qualified CA, so how did this idea came that I want to give the UPSC now, because you had a lot of opportunities already, and you also internship, like you have done your internship in a very reputed organization, that is EY, right? So why this UPSC preparation?
So throughout my schooling, and also when I was in my college, I was very fascinated and inclined towards policy making, the policy making side of finance. I also got an opportunity to intern with the Ministry of Finance, so that also made me a little more inclined towards the governance aspect, and that is why I thought of preparing for civil services after I cleared CA.
Okay, so your family, were they supportive of your decision? Because being a CA and like being able to have a very good private job, so were they supportive that now you should like prepare for UPSC, and after UPSC you decided to prepare for the regulatory bodies? So were they like supportive of your decisions?
So definitely there were instances when they were a bit skeptical if I should be jumping into this, because definitely there is a lot of uncertainty involved. Uncertainty with respect to not just, the finances part, just the emotional investment it takes and all of that. So that was always there. But but otherwise they were very unconditionally supportive, and they always guided me along the way. So that was there.
And your, like, who is the backbone of your preparation journey?
My father would be the backbone of my preparation journey, because there have been many ups and downs, but he has been one constant throughout. He has always unconditionally believed in me, even when I didn't. So even on days when I doubted myself, he was the one who believed in me and pushed me throughout to do more things. So he would be the backbone.
And like you did your bachelor's, after that you continued with your CA, after that you did your UPSC preparation, and then this regulatory body preparation. So it is a very long process. UPSC, like 3 years giving to UPSC, and then to so how did you manage your preparation, and how did you manage your piece of like your mental state that you have to continuously prepare and prepare and prepare?
Yes. So definitely I would accept that there are a lot of days when you doubt yourself, and there are ups and downs, but one thing is that you should be very sure of why you are starting, why you're doing what you're doing. So always start with why. Spend some time with yourself, know yourself, and write down, journal. So that is very important, to know why you're doing. So coming back to your question, I was very clear of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So which is why I was able to sustain this long process. But despite that, there were days when I was not able, when I was feeling very low and I doubted myself. So on those days, I think just meditating or being spiritually connected really helps. So that is how those things really helped me to sustain and believe in myself.
Okay. As you said that there were days when the low phase came, as well as like in the first attempt of UPSC, in the second attempt of UPSC, you were not able to get through. So at that point of time when you hit low, that okay, I have prepared so much, but I was not able to clear to the next phase. So how did you manage that point of time where you are at the lowest, because you were in a very good college, you were in a very, like, you cleared your chartered accountant in first attempt, the foundation, the intermediate, so you had that like success in whichever part you went, the SRCC also and the CA also. Now when you saw the failure in the UPSC, how did you manage your like mental state, and how did you manage to get through that?
So one is the first part is the acceptance part. You need to. So I took some time to fully accept कि okay, this has happened, and just knowing that ठीक है, I did not get through this year, but it does not define me. That is very important. And the second part is then pragmatically sitting down and understanding why I didn't get through, understanding the flaws or the gaps which were there in the preparation, and discussing with your peers, discussing with your seniors what went wrong. That is very important. So these two things are important. One, firstly giving time to yourself and fully accepting ki okay, this has happened and it's fine, you can improve and then give again. And second is just knowing your flaws and the gaps.
Okay. So now coming to the part that were you in social media, or were you following the hobbies at the time of your preparation, and were you connected with your friends, or do you think that all of these things have to be kept aside when you are doing the preparation for the competitive examination?
I feel whatever works for you, you should do. I mean, if you think isolating yourself is going to work, you can do that. But I feel everything should be done in moderation. It's always good to connect with a couple of close friends and family. It always gives you more strength, motivation. Good friends will never pull you down. So it's always good to be connected. But as far as social media usage is concerned, I feel it should always be regulated. So one thing that we were discussing off camera also, that whenever I went to my library or whenever I went to my study room, I just made it a practice, a very strict practice, that I will not take my phone with me at all. Even if I'm going there for 1 hour or maybe 30 minutes, or even if it's for 5 hours, that room is a strictly no phone usage room. So that really helped.
Okay. So now let's start with your like phase 1, phase 2 and the interview strategy, and we will be starting with phase 1. So you started your preparation just after the notifications. So how did you pull it? Like how did you clear the phase 1 just with the 1 month of preparation for phase 1?
So after the notification, I started preparing. The first thing that I did was understanding the trends. I went through the previous year questions. That was very important. And then I took a couple of mock tests and solved them. I even solved the previous year questions to understand how I'm scoring, what are the gaps, and that is how I went about it. So my approach was a little different. I just did a reverse engineering sort of approach. I practiced extensively, and then I saw what were the gaps, and then I tried to fill those gaps instead of just starting from scratch. Possibly also because I had a commerce background, I had done my CA. So for people who are from that background, you can follow this approach, but somebody who is not from that background needs to start from scratch, start from the basics and get concepts right, and then start practicing.
Correct. So if you have the extensive background in the commerce, like you have done your BCom, MCom, then you have that base, that understanding base, that conceptual base, that then you can just build on that and clear the examination. But someone who is not from the commerce background, they have to be a little more they have to put a little more efforts, because they have to start from the very basics, right? So she was able to clear the examination in her first attempt in just a few months of preparation, because you can understand she has the BCom degree from SRCC. She has done her CA also, so she has done that conceptual understanding in her bachelor's and in her CA. Now, I think this is understandable that you had the knowledge of the 6 subjects that were asked in the examination. But in phase 2, there is something extra that is required. Now, you have, after the CA, you had the break of 3 years. You were preparing for UPSC, in which you might not have gone too much in depth in the 6 subjects. So, after phase 1, how did you like prepare for those 6 subjects, or how did you prepare for the paper 2 of phase 2?
So the paper 2 of phase 2 part is very important, because one, it is very it is very scoring, and second, it's also very manageable. That is the part which is not so subjective, so you can so the effort to reward ratio is very good, in terms of if you give that amount of effort, you will get good marks, as compared to maybe the paper 1 English part, where there is a slight amount of subjectivity. So that is one. How I approached was again the same thing. First, start with PYQs, understand what kind of questions are coming, what are the subjects, what are the areas they want to ask, what is the format of questions, all of that. And then I started to analyze what are my strengths or my weaknesses. So the strength part was definitely the conceptual part, the accounting, costing part I was very confident at. But the weak part was maybe the Companies Act or the corporate law part, which I had really forgotten, because since I was preparing for civil services. So I made short notes of the Companies Act, all the sections and all the limits which one has to memorize. And apart from that, even the finance subject was slightly new to me, especially the theoretical part, the overview of regulatory bodies, all of that. So I made short notes of that, and I prepared for that.
Okay. And you also have very good marks in the paper 1 of phase 2, that is your English answer writing, English descriptive paper or English answer writing, right? So in that, how, like, usually when the toppers have come to us and they have given the interview, they have said that they have received either 40 marks or 30 marks in the paper 1 of phase 2, but you have received 52 marks. That is the highest that I have heard till now. So what was your strategy for the English descriptive paper?
So I would talk about 3 things. I'll break this answer into 3 parts. The first part is the interface part. So I had watched a couple of EduTap videos, and in which it was heavily emphasized that the interface part is going to be the most challenging. You really need to practice on different kinds of keyboard, not the laptop ones, but the big keyboards that we have, because that kind of interface will be there in the examination. That is very important. So practicing mocks in a time bound way with a challenging interface is the first point. Second is the content part. With the content part, I was slightly comfortable, because I was reading extensively for the civil services examination, so that was not much of a concern for me. But what we can do is that we can just look at the again the previous year questions. We need to go back to the PYQs, what kind of essays are being asked, what are the themes that they want to touch upon. Maybe it's financial literacy, or maybe crypto, or whatever. So understanding the themes, and then you can prepare some common pointers, some quotations, or some data points which can fit into those themes, so that whenever that kind of essay comes, you can just use that. The third part is being in the examination. The approach or the attitude you need during the examination. So I remember during my examination, there were there was a lot of challenge with the interface to a lot of people. There were some students whose keyboard was not working, mouse was not working. So, and they were calling for the invigilator. So all of this creates a lot of noise and chaos outside. That is when you need to maintain your calm. That is very important. So being very calm in the interview, being very calm during the examination, and just focusing on what you have in front of the screen, focusing on your answers, focusing on your exam, that is very important. So having a very focused and a positive attitude in the examination hall is also very important.
Okay, nice. So, Arshnoor has given 3 very important points that you need to keep in mind while doing the English answer writing practice or while doing the English descriptive paper. So, the first one is practicing a lot in the time bound manner. So, the key word here is time bound manner, because we usually practice the essays and such, and we are not like in the mindset that okay, we have to complete it in a time. Okay, then second point, she has said about the content. For that you can see the PYQ, so that you know about the themes on which the questions usually come. And the third point, she has said that in the examination you need to remember that there will be a lot of noise that will be coming, so you have to isolate yourself in the sense that your mind should be on your examination. Okay, so now let's go to the final part, that is your interview. Now you have received such good marks like 12.4 out of 15. It is like very good marks that you have received in interview. So can you tell us the sources or how did you prepare for the interview?
Yes. Again, so the interview part also I would like to break into two aspects. One is the knowledge or the content part, the sources part which you talked about, and the other is the attitude part. I feel the second part is very important because just I mean they are looking for a positive attitude. They're looking for conviction in your answers. They're looking for positivity, integrity, and conviction. Integrity is a very important aspect because the role is such. We are appearing for a regulatory body examination. Integrity is of utmost importance. So that has to be maintained while you're answering. So this is the attitude part. Coming back to the knowledge or the content part of things, what I did was the first thing is that I read 2-3 financial dailies every day. I read Mint, Economic Times, and one general newspaper which was the Indian Express. I made sort of short notes out of it, and post that I used like ChatGPT, Perplexity, these kind of tools to go into the background of things. If I did not know a particular news item or something, a concept, this is what I did. I read the SEBI's annual report very extensively, tried to research on that also, reading more on that. I listened to a couple of finance podcasts. So we really need to get into that flow, that mindset of understanding the financial news. How is the entire landscape working? How is the securities market working? Right from the nuances, right from the basics to the nuances. So all of this helps a lot. Just listening to podcasts, reading different books, or maybe speaking to people. So all of this I did in order to prepare for the interview.
Okay, so you have told the sources basically, and now coming to the mock interviews, did you give any mock interviews?
Yes, I gave around 4 to 5 mock interviews.
And how important do you think the mock interviews are, and why did you give so many of the mock interviews? How did they help you?
So definitely mock interviews really help you to understand your flaws and what is going wrong, what is going right. That is very important. You get a lot of input. So I got very valuable inputs from my mock interviews, right from the body language part, maintaining eye contact, or just adding new sources. Like I spoke about the SEBI annual report, so somebody from the interview panel only told me about SEBI's annual report. So it's very important to give mock interviews because that really helps to simulate that kind of environment. So whatever mistakes that you have to do, you do it before the real interview, and then you can really work on it over time.
Okay, and you have given 2 mock interviews with EduTap, if I'm correct. So how helpful were the mock interviews, as well as how was the process? Was it smooth for you?
Yes, the process was very smooth, and the suggestions or the inputs that I got from your team, that was also very valuable.
So how was the experience of the final interview? Were you afraid before going to the interview?
Definitely I was slightly nervous before going to the interview, but what I said to myself before the interview was that no matter what the outcome is, if I get through or don't or not, what I need to do in the next 10-20 minutes is just to give my best. I'll go with a very positive mindset. I'll not worry about the outcome. I'll just go there, give the answers, whatever I know. And even if I do not know something, I will not doubt myself. I'll just be calm and composed. It's okay. They're not looking for the right or the best answers. I'll just stay with the positive mindset. I'll not get afraid, and that's what I mean. Just not focusing. What really helped me in the interview was not focusing on the outcome and just being in that moment and enjoying the process, giving your best at that point irrespective of the outcome. That really helped me.
Okay. And can you share a few of the questions that were asked in the interview?
It was mostly around it was mostly around my work experience at EY. So I'd worked at EY, so that was there. And then the financial news which was which was there. So all of those things were asked.
Okay. And were there any questions on your gap years? Because after the qualification of the, after you qualified the CA, you had the 3 years of gap years, na? So were there any questions on that?
They asked me about what were you doing in those years. I just honestly replied that I was preparing for the civil services exam. I could not get through, and that's it. They did not counter question on that.
Okay.
So again, I'll say that conviction is very important, believing in yourself is very important, and integrity is important. Do not try to um, make up things on your own. It's very important that you just be very honest and confident in what you're saying.
Okay. And were there any questions that you were not able to reply or you were not able to answer?
Yes, definitely. There were 2-3 questions which I did not know. They were maybe asking about some news or some event that had happened recently. I was not aware of that. So I just politely and honestly replied, so I am not aware of this, so it's fine.
And you have received like 12.4 marks out of 15. So what do you think is the reason for receiving such good marks in the interview?
Just I'm not sure of the reason of getting good marks, but I just shared my the process of preparation. By those two things, that I need to go with a good and a positive attitude. Whatever I need to say, I need to say it with conviction. And the second part is that the knowledge and the content part, that I need to do very well. Reading extensively before the interview is very important.
Okay. So you should not be going in the interview just with the mindset that, okay, I have studied till now, so I will get through. No, you have to prepare for the interview also very specifically, because the marks in the interview can also be the make and break marks, because someone is not able to clear with just 0.5 marks, 0.25 marks or 1 marks. Okay. So interview marks also hold a lot of importance. Even if only out of 15 you are getting the marks in SEBI interview, still they are very important. Okay, so any last message like that you want to convey to the aspirants that are going to prepare for the SEBI Grade A?
Last message would be just keep on believing in yourself and know why you're doing what you're doing. Spend time with yourself. Have some hobbies. Do whatever you want. Like if you want to go for a trek or whatever. If meeting friends makes you happy, do whatever makes you happy, and that's it. Just stay happy and just believe in yourself, and everything will be fine.
Okay. Last question. Now, how helpful EduTap was for you in your preparation journey of SEBI Grade A?
EduTap was very helpful in terms of the mock tests and the mock interviews that I gave. So I got a lot of valuable feedback from there. So that was very important.
Okay. Thank you so much, Arshnoor, for coming. Thank you for giving the interview.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.